Welcome to the Explainer. Today we're digging into a fascinating analysis that suggests there's a huge, and I mean huge, U.S. military shift happening in the Middle East. But what's really interesting is that what you see on the surface, well, that might not be the real story at all. Okay, so let's get right to the heart of the mystery, the thing that kicked this whole thing off. Satellite images pop up, and suddenly, a key U.S. airbase in Saudi Arabia that's usually packed with planes, it looks almost empty. So the big question on everyone's mind is the one you see right here. What is going on? All right, so our first piece of this puzzle doesn't come from some official announcement. Nope. It comes from the eyes in the sky, satellites. And what they saw looks like a pretty sudden and very significant exit from a major airbase. And here's the evidence. We're talking about dozens of really important aircraft, C-130s for cargo, and crucial refueling tankers, just gone. Now, this isn't just a handful of planes moving around for a training exercise. According to the source, this is a massive, deliberate clear-out, and you don't do something like that without a very good reason. So, if it wasn't just a simple rotation of forces, what was it? Well, the analysis we're diving into claims this wasn't just America's call. Not at all. It was actually a reaction to some serious diplomatic pushback from some of the most important players in the region. And this is where it gets really interesting. Look at this. According to the report, it wasn't just one or two countries. You've got Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Turkey, a whole coalition of nations basically telling the United States, thanks, but no thanks. You can't use our bases or our airspace for any potential action against Iran. That's a huge deal. It's a sign that these countries are putting their own regional stability first, even ahead of their long-standing ties with the U.S. The source we're looking at really drives home that the message from Saudi Arabia, in particular, was incredibly direct. This quote here is a paraphrase, but it captures the alleged feeling perfectly. A hard no to getting dragged into a wider conflict. It's a line in the sand. Okay, so you've got planes leaving and allies saying no way. It's super easy to look at that and think, okay, the U.S. is retreating, they're de-escalating. But the analysis we're examining says that is exactly the wrong way to look at it. This isn't a withdrawal, it's something else entirely. They call it a repositioning. And let's be really clear about what that word means, because it's key to this whole story. Repositioning isn't about packing up and going home. It's about moving your chess pieces to a better spot on the board, usually so you can make a stronger move later. And this slide just lays out the paradox perfectly. On the one side, you have what it looks like. Cargo planes and tankers are leaving, so it feels like a withdrawal. But at the exact same time, the source claims there's a massive buildup of offensive power. We're talking aircraft carriers, bombers, jets, surging into the wider region. See? It's like a magic trick. Look over here while the real action is happening somewhere else. So where did all those pieces go? The analysis points a finger at one place, Diego Garcia. It's this super strategic island base in the middle of the Indian Ocean. And its biggest advantage? It's far away from all that political pressure on the mainland, giving the U.S. way more freedom to operate without anybody saying no. But this whole thing isn't just about moving ships and planes. While all these physical chess pieces are being shifted around, there's a whole other war being fought in the shadows, a war of spies and intelligence. And this battle is absolutely crucial to understanding the big picture. Now, according to this analysis, Iran has just scored a massive win in that shadow war. The claim is that a huge Israeli spy network inside Iran, one that took years to build and was aimed at targeting the country's leadership, has been completely taken down. Losing human intelligence, actual people on the ground, is described as just a devastating, catastrophic blow. Meanwhile, out in the open, the political pressure is only getting more intense. The source points to comments like this one, attributed to Reza Pahlavi, pushing for direct military strikes against Iran's command structure. It's a perfect example of the kind of aggressive rhetoric that's swirling around while all these military and intelligence moves are happening. So let's pull all these threads together. You've got this massive military repositioning, you've got this diplomatic standoff, and you've got this intense spy versus spy conflict. What does it all add up to? Well, according to this analysis, it's not just a series of random events. It's a sign of a major shift in the balance of power in the whole region. The argument here is that Iran has played its hand incredibly well. The source claims that Iran's military is now seen as so capable that it actually scared regional countries away from cooperating with the U.S., forcing this whole repositioning. On top of that, the analysis points to things like combat experience from the war in Ukraine and highly accurate missiles as proof that Iran's strategic position has fundamentally changed. And this, right here, is the ultimate takeaway the source material builds do. The story it tells is that Iran has gone from being just a regional troublemaker to something much more. A formidable power that even a superpower like the United States has to deal with as an equal. So, when you put it all together, the repositioning of forces away from prying eyes, the shifting alliances, the intense intelligence battles, it all leaves us with one pretty heavy question. Is this whole strategic pivot just a prelude to a much bigger, much more intense conflict to come? That's the unsettling thought we're left with.